All right. You guys could go back to what you're talking about.
Cool. We were talking about Covet for the record. Yeah, Covet's really cool. Lead guitarist's name is, I think you pronounce it Yvette Young. But it's really cool, kind of tappy, jazzy. Not too far from what you showed me. That's whatever his name is.
Rasher.
Rosher?
Rasher.
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 Tobias Worcestershire sauce. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Worcestershire.
That's one of those things that, like, in the moment, it completely vanishes from my mind. All previous knowledge of this thing that I've supposedly made myself learn. Kind of like the spelling of the word restaurant.
Restaurant.
Yeah. Where the fuck does the U go? Do you know where the U goes?
You gotta, like, restaurant. So, you goes up in the That's so weird.
Luckily, without talking too much shit about my job, I have memorized the spelling of restaurant. Oh, the joy of computers and typing.
Taurant. Is that right?
Taurant.
Restaurant.
It is rest our rant. Speaking of which, I don't know, Nashville goes into the full phase 2 opening next week. Have you guys checked out what all that includes?
I saw what is it, Nautaru? Is that what it is? Is that Nautaru?
I mean, Nautaru's super duper canceled, right? Nobody's doing live music here, to my knowledge.
There's an event going up in June, I think.
Oh.
Let me check.
Well, that popped up on my feed, but I assumed it was because dude was canceling it. I'm not going to talk about that. I don't know what I'm talking about. Forgive me, Internet. Holy shit.
We're like 5 minutes in.
I'm casually canceling things I have no connection to.
So thanks, guys, for being here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. This is dope.
I got Michael Carter to the right of me, and I got Carter Vukovic to the left of me. So this is the double Carter experience.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's what the name of this episode is going to be.
Was this planned? Was this all part of your grand scheme for this?
It wasn't. It's just a happy coincidence.
Whoa.
Very cool.
Last minute.
That's also,
Fell into place.
ironically, what it would be called if you guys had a threesome with someone. It'd be the double Carter experience.
Or started a band. Let's not get carried away. Let's not overly escalate the sexual tension just yet. We got to get acquainted. I haven't been here for long. I just walked in with my six-pack.
Night is young. You can have an orgy and start a band all in one night.
It's true. Yeah. It's Friday. It's a new moon. New beginnings. New things.
Kill two birds with one stone.
So I got to episode 3 of Midnight Gospel, but I haven't seen the rest of it yet. So
what are you doing? Why are we doing this? You've got work to do, my boy. You're not. No.
Because I knew I wanted to talk to you about it, but I haven't finished it yet.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what intervals did you space out your watching of those 3 episodes? How long is it taking you to do that? Not that I'm judging.
I watched them all at once.
Okay, cool. So they're all relatively fresh on your mind. Okay, cool.
And the third one is the one that really caught my attention.
Yeah, no, that one's really cool.
With the fish.
Yeah, that is Duncan's interview with Damien Eccles. Yeah.
I'm familiar with a little bit with him too, which is crazy that they had that talk.
No, that's absolutely. It's a really good episode, on multiple levels. The visuals are really interesting, and the topics are covered in such a way that just makes you completely interested and enveloped in whatever Damien is saying. Even if you don't have the slightest belief in the possibility of magic or take it seriously as a spirituality, you still are huh? You don't say, Damien. That sounds reasonable.
Yeah, because he's saying things very matter-of-factly. Like he believes what he's saying is kind of what I mean.
Yeah, well, no, he's about what he's saying. There's several, mostly because I've watched it a shit ton, but there's several quotes that he does that stick out to me. And one of them is talking about how, what most Eastern religions refer to as enlightenment, or maybe nirvana, or just that idea, that state, right, is not even the final state. like there's more beyond that, where you can, essentially immortalize your soul, I believe, is the notion I got from him, just by doing certain spiritual practices that protect your cosmic shell. There was a lot of words thrown around really quickly, and they were all like that: cosmic, solar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that almost implies. I mean, so that implies that normally a soul isn't immortal. Like you have to get there. Again,
to specify the differences in what he was saying versus what is the standard go-to in most Eastern traditions would be that Eastern traditions still have, to my knowledge, I'm not as well read as I would like to be, but typically Eastern religions have like the enlightenment or nirvana being the end-all be-all. And I don't know what the end game is after that, but that is like your purpose as a being is to reach an idealized state. And I think his counter argument, which is a pretty Western thing too, to think about it that way, to think about it as being goal oriented, his take on it is like, well, there's more, which is not why he does what he does, but the way he casually drops the knowledge is just kind of like, wait, what? Mm-hmm. Back up, sir.
So something like, I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but like something I've thought about, like, I feel like in my life I've had some pretty crazy experiences that I don't know what to do with at this point, whether through psychedelics or through like spirit work. I've got all these things that, like, trying to approach things scientifically, it's like I come to a wall when I think about that, because it's like, how do I even rectify the things that I've experienced in the realm of possibility?
So are you saying that you can't reason with things that you swear that have happened to you? Okay, so are these like actual occurrences? Are these states? Like what? Where are we going with this? Where are you taking me, brother?
So I think we've talked about DMT before.
Yep, I've brought it up from time to time, Joe Rogan style. Brother, have you ever done it? I'll go ahead.
I think anyone who's done DMT can relate to having an experience they can't rectify at all.
I don't know. It is different for a lot of people, and there's also weird similarities. I will say that, like, my one experience did not necessarily throw me directly into the crazy alien world that I hear about so much. I didn't see any elves. I think I heard them. I heard some like kind of crazy gibberish thing going on. How
much did you take?
It was like 3 full-on hits.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it was, I was thankfully guided by someone who knew what they were doing and had done it not like several times before, but the instance that they did, I think they just like did it all day with like a big group of people, right? And so it was just like the 1 puff, 2 puff, 3rd puff, and this is the best I can recollect it, right? Like, this is what I felt.
You start to like lose it.
Yeah. You lose it. And I don't know, vision started losing its definition, and then things morphed into shapes, right? And then it became very angular and very kind of black and white, boxy. And this happens anytime I'm on large amounts of psychedelics with another person in the room who's like helping me take it. There's like this weird aspect of like the ritual and like the connection with the other person. Like the energy in the room boils down to the feeling that like just 2 people helping each other out, or like 2 messages being this is going to get super heady.
No, keep going.
I'm warning you. It like gets to a point to where it feels like that's all there's ever been, right? Does that make sense?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I have a similar experience with that, where it's
Okay.
like you get to a point where you've always been there.
Yeah, like this is just how it is.
You transport somewhere and then you've always existed there.
Yeah. And that happens, and then all of a sudden, what that energy is, or that like ritual morphs into like shapes, and then like it kind of stretched out infinitely backwards and forwards, my particular scene or whatever. And then it becomes like a picture book after that, right? Like I remember it boxy. I don't know why I remember boxy so much, but like boxy, black and white, angular. Like I didn't see a whole lot of colors. I saw a lot of white light, like infinite white light. Anyways, box opens. It's like I'm thrust upward, and there might have been some light synesthesia at various points, but it mostly like became a white light, feeling like I'm thrusted upward combo with some audio things in my ears, right? Like elvish voices or something. Some like high-pitched gibberish was yelling at me or singing to me. Singing to me in a way that I understood. And it made me feel good. It made me feel like it was like they were telling me everything was going to be okay and things were fine. This long message of like unyielding support and like calming and anxiety reducing energy noise just being poured into me, to where it literally sounded like elvish angels singing in my ear trying to deliver some kind of message like that.
Do you think there was a message? And
yes and no. And then I like gently, that peaked, and then that was kind of the last thing that I remember, and I slowly floated back down, like definitely floated, and just like plopped back in my chair and returned to my realm of like incense, candles, orange juice, and like Fire on the Mountain by Grateful Dead being played.
That's so gentle.
Oh, it's so nice.
That's
so nice.
Did I tell you about my experience with it?
A little bit. I remember you met someone, like an old lady who showed you something or did something. You can tell it better than I can.
That's a long story, and there's what you were saying actually leads into another question I was going to ask you, so I'll save that for another time.
Mm-hmm.
But I forgot to finish my thought earlier. So, dealing with these things I've experienced, like DMT and like Ouija boards and sigil magic, and having
I really appreciate how you go straight from DMT to Ouija boards. Like,
well,
this man knows how to party.
I guess both of those are kind of intense. But like, no, I would say as far as weird experiences for me, those are where they come from, is the work I've done with magic and the work I've done with psychedelics.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so, juggling how weird these experiences are and how they're kind of hush-hush and not really talked about so much, and like, except in specific circles.
Yes.
For the general public, it's not really. So that makes me like, okay, if I'm aware of these things and me and you are aware of these things, I'm like, okay, so the government is very aware of this sort of stuff, and they're definitely operating, all the governments. If there's anything to this, they already are more progressed in it than, just the hippie on his couch, right? Like, they're probably a lot more organized with it.
I think, okay, so I'm not gonna disagree with you, but I'm also not gonna agree with you, right? Because what I think I've noticed in this strange thing that is going on that we call life is that, you can, in like super high psychedelic states, or like really cool meditative induced states, which I've just started trying to tap into and get into, like there is like this uniform sense of like, I'm one with everything, I'm connected to everything. And that moment like comes and goes, right? Sometimes in like peak moments, it's like something that you can use to feel and love the whole time, and it's cool. But I also think, and magic kind of expands upon this a lot more, that there are separate powerful energies working at the same time, right? Manifesting themselves differently, in anything from capitalism, Walmart, McDonald's, Coke.
Okay.
These are
individuals too.
Yeah, those are things that have propelled individuals to make something that exists.
Because a company is like one person at the top of a triangle pushing, like an arrow pointed at.
Yeah, yeah. It's, it's the same kind of energy that makes like people in our age group right now want to settle down and have houses and have kids right away. Super settle down, do that. Like you're making something. Like to make something is the single most human thing you can do. Right? God created us in His image. He created someone who also wants to create things in its image. My point being, whatever's out there in the ether that we're kind of swimming in and connected to, things come and go, ranging from what could be considered a demon to like a angelic encounter to like a ghost or a reptile. All of those things can make things happen, and this is a really long way of leading into like, I think that it's possible that, well, no, it's totally possible because of the Bohemian Grove thing, but which is another thing we can get into later. I think it's possible that there's several people in the higher up food chain who have no idea what this is because some like energy and other coercion propelled them into this position where they're not going to make it a fucking thing.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
And it's something that whenever people talk about, like, oh, it's a government conspiracy, the government's in on it. Whenever someone's saying something like that, I don't think they're actually saying the entire government and the president are in on it. What they're saying is sects of the government have people within them that are in positions to do bad things, really.
Mm-hmm.
There's networks within a network, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sort of dishonest to portray it as like the whole government is like this, when really what you mean is certain people in positions of power are bad in every system.
Yeah, certain people in positions of power are bad. Certain uses of power are bad. But what is a fundamental thing that we can't get around is the fact that power has to exist for other things to exist below it. Like, we haven't figured out a way to do shit better than like making one person be the thing, the king, like which is, we're a little bit beyond that, but we're still, I don't know, there's so many people, man. The fact that we can all exist at the same time and like adhere to a certain set of rules and orders that keep us on our own little paths that never conflict with each other too much in order to keep the giant machine running is pretty interesting when you think about it.
Yeah, it's like a social highway where everyone's in their own lane.
What are like words and social designations other than little chemicals that make us do a certain thing, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like these, like everything from words to ideas to money to like anything else can be burned, tore down, maybe to like even signal transfer, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's almost like, I'm not making fun of that by any means.
No,
but that almost reminds me of like people saying that the coronavirus is 5G. Like, it's a signal thing.
If you're not careful, that's what that can fucking lead to.
I'm not saying that's the same thing. It just reminded me of that.
My point with that is from microscopic to macroscopic levels, it's just like signals and chemical transfer. Like from like 0 to the 1 to the widest tethers of the universe, like that universal thing always happens.
Okay.
There's some movement. Yeah.
So like almost like an as above, so below thing. Like what happens
exactly.
In the heavens happens below.
Yeah. I'm saying the weird, vague, invisible forces that keep us aligned and keep us going to jobs we don't like and keep us moving and functioning in this world are not too far separated from whatever makes our cells do stuff in our body.
Okay. Like, it's almost like the whole system is an organism itself, comprised.
Yeah.
Because we're just a bag comprised of other organisms.
Mm-hmm. And we are unique, and we can think, we can do cool stuff, but we're also parts of a bigger thing.
Yeah.
And if you've done enough psychedelics, you feel that, but not in like the scary way.
I have felt on mushrooms like connected, like I remember I was laying down, and I remember like I felt like I was just sinking in, like I was sinking into the bed, but it felt like I was sinking into the earth, and I was connected to sort of the soil, like a tree, like with
Mhm.
roots, and like I was connected to everyone else, and it's like I wasn't dead, but I wasn't anything singular. I was sort of the entire system, and I wonder. I remember thinking, I wonder if this is sort of what it's like to be a tree connected to other trees. You're all sort of the same thing.
You goddamn tree hugger. Nixon failed us.
Goddamn hippies. Get off my lawn.
But no, I agree with you. I continually chase ways to describe what that feeling was. Not chase the feeling, right? It's not like it's a opiate or something.
It's not.
Like,
I know exactly what
Yeah.
you mean. I know exactly what you mean. Like, it's just trying to describe it for years. Like, trying to, because it's,
there's
Any-
no words. There are absolutely no words that do any of that whole fucking thing justice. But here we are. Literally just presenting our words.
I'm going to quickly use the bathroom and check on make sure everything's going okay with the stream. Do you want to tell your DMT story? I particularly want you to tell the one about when time slowed down, or when you saw time ahead of it when it was happening. And I'll be right back. Can I get anyone a drink?
Nah, man, I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. So I had already blasted off before
Right.
this experience.
You're a seasoned veteran
Yeah,
at this point.
Yeah, going in, like, consciously been there, had that whole experience. So I was just kind of showing these two guys what it was.
What's your method? Like, what do you use?
I'm just in a pipe.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, that seems like the basic way. That's like what I've heard more stories from and everything. Even the McKenna method, right, is like the make sure you do 3 hits of that. But
Well, I think like four big inhales, and then you hold in that last one, and you'll see a kaleidoscope. Like when you close your eyes, you'll see a kaleidoscope. Your body sucks down into the earth, and then your soul just blasts off.
Okay, I get it. I've been toying with the idea that I didn't do enough for my like mostly white light experience, and I'm okay with that, but I'm also not okay with it. I'm like,
It's the heaviest feeling you'll ever feel. I mean, it feels like you go to the center of the earth.
I mean, it was a lot. That's an interesting take on it. I felt like I was being thrown up into the heavens. Counter with that.
See, my first experience, I didn't take enough.
Mm-hmm.
And it was more of like an ego death type of thing where I felt like I was kind of the life force of the universe. Like almost every single atom with the energy that it can make. And it was humbling, and I saw like kind of these weird like pyramids and then square buildings with black Egyptian writing all on it. Like, it was
Cool.
kind of panning over that, and there was some kind of music that was playing, like a certain frequency.
That's wild.
But this experience, I was showing someone what it was, and I just took one hit, like one full hit, and held it in, and blew it out, and nothing happened. I thought nothing was happening. And I don't know, I guess I misjudged it. I thought it wasn't going to do anything to me. So I got up and I walked into the kitchen, and all of a sudden, like, I stepped out of my body. And I looked to my left, and I had seen, like, the past 5 minutes what just happened. And it was super weird to see time in that way. It was like almost like solid but moving.
This is a side note, but it's relevant. Have you seen Devs yet? The Hulu show?
Uh-uh.
There's some scenes at some points in it, at least in a couple episodes, maybe in the same episode, where like you watch a character do or like you watch that character do several variations of something within a time span, right? So like someone walks out of a building, you see that character one time walk up and like maybe trip on the stairs, the second one they're calling a taxi, the third one they're looking at their phone, and up to like 20 of them all in the same space. I was bringing that up to see if that's kind of what it looked like or felt like a trail of you behind you, or did you physically leave your body and you were like something different, translucent maybe?
It was actually kind of opposite of like seeing different possibilities and stuff. It's kind of funny. So what I saw was exactly what had happened. No variations. Just time, solid, like taking up space, but also going back in time the further away it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then I turned my head to the right, and I was looking at like what was about to happen in the next 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I like stepped back into my body, what had just happened was just so crazy to me. I like walked back into the living room, sat down, and tried to tell them what was going on, but they weren't listening. They were just like arguing about something.
Yeah.
But it was such a profound experience. I was like trying to like,
please let me tell you.
Yeah, like guys,
please.
come on, listen. This is so important.
Yeah.
And then at that moment, I had just then comprehended that what I watched happen was that me walking in, sitting down, knowing that they weren't going to listen, and then trying to explain it while they weren't listening. And then I just started laughing because I was like, holy shit. I saw what happened, and I tried to avoid it, and that's exactly what happened. Almost like time's already kind of written.
Okay, you should watch Devs. It's an interesting take on that. Determinism. The notion that everything's happening a certain way and it's just...
My roommate's a huge determinist. I wish he has to be up early for work. But I wish he was here.
Next time.
Man.
Next time. Yeah.
Dude, oh my god. He's also, not obnoxiously vegetarian, but he's vegetarian.
No, it's okay. I'm no longer full vegetarian, but I totally eat less meat than I ever have before, except the time when I was a vegetarian.
How much do you eat a week?
Okay, this week is different because I spent the weekend. Yeah, right. You're catching me in a bad moment. Yeah. This week is different because I started off on the wrong foot. I went to Mississippi to help a buddy move in, and we like to indulge. So we drink a lot, we sometimes we'll trip super duper hard. Other times we'll, just living life, man, living to the fullest. This weekend we got drunk and ate a lot of steak. Alcohol and red meat's good for the heart.
Yeah, boy.
Real good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But normally I'll eat meat maybe 2 to 3 times a week, if that much.
I think that's too little.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Lay it on. Lay some facts on me.
You need about 2 chicken breasts at lunch. You need 8 strips of bacon at breakfast.
Who's your doctor, sir?
And 2 eggs.
You know, it's funny. The first episode of this podcast we did, I had him and my roommate on, and my roommate was like, you can live a completely normal life without eating any meat. There's nothing, if you live a proper vegetarian diet, you can get all the nutrition you need. And he was like, no, you can't. You have to have meat to survive. And he was like, dude, people do it all the time. And he was like, no, they don't. They're all liars. All vegetarians.
Every single one of them's fucking dead, dude. I know it.
And I was just dying because they went on for an hour talking about it.
It's really funny.
Well, no, the other part of the argument was that if they made fake meat and then said that everyone who wanted to eat real meat had to go kill it themselves and process it, that almost everyone would just stop eating real meat. And
I know I sure would. I don't want to do that unless I have a farm. I don't know why that's different. But that's how I feel.
Unless I'm already going to do it.
Yeah, unless that's what I've signed on to do with someone. Okay, you want a farm? Sure, cool.
This is the life God has given me. I must utilize these tools.
I mean, it pops up a lot. A lot of people say that they want a homestead or a commune.
Yeah, I think most of the population would go kill their own meat. I think more.
But okay, now we need to get into the logistics of how you kill it and where you go. Do you go down the street to Larry's Steak and Ale where you fucking kill cows and drink too? There, what is the economic model for this, sir?
They're in the wild.
Okay, are we in the wild? Is this some Hunger Games shit?
Yeah, you gotta kill it with your bare hands.
Okay.
Man versus beast. You are the top predator. You must prove it to eat.
There's this deer running through the streets of Manhattan, and people chase him
because he's late for work, dude.
Yeah, I'm walking here.
Get out of here!
They can't get around the city. He's just gotta cut the time. Late for work.
to help your stance on the whole meat thing, I don't know how like adamantly you feel about it, but I do have a friend who's tried carnivore diet on and off again, and he says it makes him feel great. He loves it. I don't think he's doing it, but he loves it.
It's funny because my roommate, he doesn't. He likes meat. He does it for moral reasons. And whenever we have that conversation, it's like, damn, I can't disagree with you about any single point you've made. Like, I completely agree with you, just not in practice.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still going to eat an animal, but like I agree with you in theory, just not in practice. You know?
That's the like philosophical equivalent of like, damn, you right, but I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good.
I'm just a hypocrite, basically.
No, it's not. It's such a it's such a thing that's ingrained in us that it's hard to pull away from. Otherwise, I would have done it, right? I've seen vegetarian and vegan arguments, and even then, I make vegan choices when it's convenient, but I don't, which probably says a lot about me as a person that I can't follow through on that. But it also, I don't know, meat tastes really good. There are some health benefits. It's a weird, fucked up thing that we're disconnected from. I don't have to see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My other roommate makes a good point that, like, he justifies eating meat because his contribution to the world, in his mind, is greater than the life of, say, a chicken. It's like, this chicken...
so this shit's power tripping for him.
Yeah, he's like...
Yes.
He's like, the time that it would save me to, like, make a salad instead of just, like, going to make a McChicken, I can utilize that time better to help the world. And more than that chicken could, I guess. So,
it's
like,
not a fucking contest, bro.
But
wings
saying,
are good. I get it.
What do you think?
He's saying it's okay for that reason.
Animal's life is more valuable than your taste?
No.
I don't think anyone does. We just do it anyway.
Actually, sorry, let me backtrack on that. I readied that before you finished your thought, and I actually do think an animal is more valuable than my personal taste.
Really?
I do.
Enough to stop eating meat?
Oh, I meant
no,
the way
not
around.
enough to stop eating meat.
Okay. Sorry, I should have added that in.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, that's kind of fucked. That's like a really fucked up way to think about it.
I disagreed with.
Yeah. It's
complicated.
but I still eat it because obviously I'm okay with it. Otherwise, I wouldn't eat it. Or is it like an addiction issue more so than like a ideological issue? I would put it closer to addiction. I'm so fucking used to how meat tastes. I know it's easy. I know I can get it. I know what it's going to be like. It is pretty good most of the time, but I could do without it. I go without it for days to weeks at a time sometimes. But it's just such a fucking ingrained habit in me from childhood onward. Like when I want to celebrate, I want like burgers and brats and beer, and those are weird comfort things that I've
America.
It's a weird consumer capitalist dogma bullshit salad. I don't know why I called it a salad.
Bullshit salad.
It's a bullshit
It
salad.
is a bullshit
Yeah,
salad.
it's a fucking bullshit
It's
salad.
a bald eagle bullshit salad.
You leave the Eagles out of this, sir. Unless they're the wrong Eagle. I'm going to plug that too.
Yeah, plug all of it.
There's been no plug other than just like, hey, can I put this here as the background? And you were like, yeah.
Yeah, dog. Yeah.
It's like, I paid for a billboard. What's your rate, bro? How much do I owe you?
We'll discuss it after.
Okay,
After
all
it's aired.
right. My man's pushing the hard numbers on me after the podcast is over.
Yeah.
So have you had Devin on here?
No.
Okay. I was wondering.
Probably will. Pretty
Cool.
soon.
He's I keep a constant group chat going with him and Alex from Wrong Eagle. It's mostly it is mostly Star Wars memes. I'm being completely
shit.
honest. Yeah.
I want to have Sanchez on. Really bad.
Cool.
I need to talk to
He's
him.
it'll be a minute. He's like staying in his house pretty hardcore. We're socially distant too. We're doing what we're supposed to, but he's like pretty swamped with work.
I got
things. Yeah, it's been we're still like very slowly working on our EP that we've been putting together since November of last year.
Do you have any dates?
No, we have no dates. We're taking our time with it because of the state of things, right? No.
Are you guys recording it at his house?
Yeah, we did it in his basement.
Fuck yeah. Mm-hmm. I've seen pictures of the place. I haven't been there myself.
Oh, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. It's just such a nice space, and like the beauty of it, man, is like being able to work extended hours on it without putting any extra dollars in it. That's the biggest issue with recording is, you have a budget to hit, and for a lot of us, sometimes those budgets aren't huge, go figure. And so there's kind of like this robbing of the spirit of creativity, but also like a pressure kind of thing, right? It's a very weird balance of the two. Like you need to finish it as quickly as you can or within the allotted amount of time that you paid for. But also it's nice to just like take your time with things and find it. But if the pressure's on, maybe you'll find the good thing. I have mixed feelings about it.
I can't remember who said it. I saw a quote. It was like, you never learn how to write a book. Or, excuse me, you never learn how to write books. You learn how to write the book you are currently writing, and then you learn how to write a different book later. Mm-hmm. And I think the same thing is true with like an album per se.
Or any kind of art, man. Like you don't learn from it until after it's done.
Like say you make a hit song. It's like that doesn't mean
okay, this time next year. Go ahead.
No, that's not what I meant. I meant say someone makes a hit song. And it's like that doesn't mean that they know how to make hit songs now. That means they made a hit song, and now they have to relearn how to make another one. It's not like they can like reproduce that somehow.
That's fair. And isn't that what's so fucked up about it? Like how once you prove yourself as an artist, you continually have to strive to either hit that ceiling, push beyond it, or go moderately below. Which is a depressing way to look at it because that relies on commodification and sales value being the end-all, be-all of how art is judged, which is not true. Mm-hmm. But sometimes things are universally good. Speaking of things that are universally good and consumer-friendly things, I've been super into the pop scene lately. The new Charlie XCX album is fantastic.
Charlie XCX?
XCX. She's like a English pop person. And it's got some of the gnarliest production in the game.
Nice. I'm trying to. What have I been listening to?
There's been a lot of good new music drops. Charlie dropped her record last Friday. Strokes did a new album back in April. Yeah, new Strokes record is good. Rick Rubin was the producer, if you know who that is. He's one of the most famous producers in music now. I believe he's most famous for his work with Jay-Z, but also don't quote me on it. I believe he did some Nirvana too. He's been like all over the place, and he's like a very respected person, and he's kind of like an eccentric character too. Yeah. Which is, how many producers do you know? Yeah. As a musician, I can think of several, but like, he's a producer who has inserted his self into mainstream public fame, consciousness, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Like there's have you ever played Metal Gear Solid, the video games?
I am well aware of Hideo Kojima.
Okay.
But I don't know anything about his games because I've never played them.
Okay, well, I was just gonna say it's a similar thing with him where it's like how many video game producers do you know of? Yet everyone knows the name Hideo Kojima.
God.
Because he's just on his own, sort of like a Keanu Reeves thing. He's sort of a meme on his own. Or like Elon Musk.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing, man. Not only do you need to be talented at what you're doing, you also kind of have to be somewhat of a personality.
Right.
And milk it. Or just be an unchangeable, unrelenting object, and people will respond and respect it, even if your art can back it up. I don't know. It's Kanye, the Kanye effect. Like, not that Hideo is like on his level of ego, but like Kanye is a perfect example of a public figure just operating on whatever wavelength they want.
Or our meme of a president.
That's different. And I don't enjoy talking about him to any extent. Not trying to shut this
give popularity to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly it. And
I've always said
I can't claim that thought as my own. I have a very close friend who kind of laid that down as his, like, because he was like,
there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Yes, that thought process, but he was the most irritated at meme cultures, like, baiting Donald Trump to, like, the fucking fullest. And I'll say the same thing about Joe Biden. I do not support Biden memes. They are funny, and I laugh every time, because, god damn it, how did we get stuck with that? But,
like, holy shit.
Oh, God.
Dude, I am fucking hype for those debates. The general election debates are gonna, oh my god, get Biden and Trump on a stage and just give me a fucking bag of popcorn, because that, like, it's the end of the world, but it's gonna be hilarious.
I'm gonna need more beer for this.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I know I'm going to watch it, but I can't do it. And that's what's fucked up about it. Is like, it is just sad. It is so sad. But even those of us that know better, we're gonna watch it and like tune in like it's a fucking spectacle.
I'm gonna laugh
and
my ass off.
Even though the actual event of, you know, whoever ends up leading this country for 4 more years, be it option A or option B, it's still become a social success because we're all fucking preoccupied with arguing about it. Not that politics shouldn't matter, but you know what I mean? We're not tuned in for the right reasons.
Yeah.
We're watching the car
for the
crash.
Memes. We're here for the memes.
I mean, I am. In memes to darkness bind us, whatever the fucking Lord of the Rings quote is, replace the one ring with memes. That's how I feel. It's
yeah.
I fight it sometimes. There are dumb memes. There are tiers of memes, right? They're the obscure ones. Sometimes they're a little too obscure. Like, okay, cool. There's like a good middle ground for a well-crafted meme these days, I feel, right? You know.
Yeah. He's got it. Like, there's so many fish in the sea. Like, you just toss a lot back. You got to find the good one.
Yeah. And I just got a new phone today. I just lost every meme in my collection, Alex. It just hit me.
That hurts.
Oh man, I gotta find new ones.
I'll load you up on some memes, bro.
Thanks. Thank you. To anyone listening, find me, Michael Carter, and send me memes.
Isn't that what friends are nowadays? It's just like
friends, family.
We're all just meme curators. It's like I curate all the memes and I send you all the best ones.
Friends, family, and people you're not really sure that you stand with. I've got a few people that like we only communicate, like we haven't hung out in a while. We only do memes, and it's like I'm cool if you're cool, right? We're good, all right.
Memes.
Yeah. There'll be like serious like family things going down, and me and my brother will still just like meme communicate. I'm so sad.
It's how people keep in touch over distance and time.
I mean, it is, and it's really cool that you can see something and either want to share it because of how funny it is on some level or like what it's referencing. But it's also cool that you can see it and immediately be like, I want this person to see this. You know, like just like immediately be like, my brain like this, their brain like that. Maybe, hey, you know.
Yeah.
You know, because it happens really quick. That's what blows my mind about it. Like the speed in which I can go and like share it to someone who I think will also enjoy it and get those sweet endorphins.
I mean, we're sharing ideas live. That's
crazy.
No,
it's the same thing.
That's insane.
All it is signal messaging and processing.
Yeah.
The thing I said earlier. That's all that's ever going on. And the simpler and the more rewarding the chemical release or message is, the better it's going to go over. Why do people like fast food? You know?
Fast.
Why do people like things like not great pop music to like not great EDM because it just fucking hits really hard, hitting those pleasure centers, hitting those endorphins. You know, humans are drawn to whatever's easiest and quickest. That's how addiction starts. It sucks.
Yeah. Speaking of that, when you said addiction, that reminded me of when.
Ooh, how dark are we getting?
Not that dark. I mean, I guess it's pretty morbid, but like, you reminded me of, I think it was Food of the Gods when.
Oh, I haven't read that yet.
Well, McKenna was talking about, he's a pharmacologist, so he was talking about, he studies the relations of people with plants, and he was talking about how actually the most addictive drug throughout history is sugar. Like, nearly everyone is addicted to sugar, and you can't escape it. It's everywhere.
Yo, your boy's got a half a pound of Ben and Jerry's waiting on me at home. It was a late birthday gift. So
that's a good birthday gift.
Oh, dude, it's so good. Thank you, Jackson Wynn.
I never know what to give people for their birthdays. Ice cream. That's an excellent idea.
Ice cream. Also on my birthday, I had the real homies, the real friends bring me alcohol. Like they just like bring 6-packs to the porch and we'd split it. It's really nice. It's
nice.
It was a real quarantine birthday.
Hell yeah. So you haven't heard of any shows opening up or anything anytime soon?
I mean, I have.
Okay. I won't.
Yeah, no. It's not like that. It's like Alabama's a little bit more lax with this, and okay. I know a spot. I don't even know the name of it. I know a spot in Coleman that had a show last Friday that I had some friends play at. And I think so. Starting next week, you can do 2-person shows. So like low key acoustic shows, and noise bands are set.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah,
dude, it'd be cool if we could like set up a way to like, it's like, okay, this month is this block of music.
Yeah.
And then you come here at this time, but then like the next month is a different block of music.
Good old noisy June.
Noisy June.
I don't know. It's one of those things where I have. I would love to go see a show as soon as possible. I ate at a restaurant today. No one was there, and the staff was. I ate smoking thighs today, and not a whole lot of people were there. The staff was gloves, mask, which obviously everyone's required to be. But it's just nice to see that. Mm-hmm. Anyways, we ate there, but. I don't know. I, as a promoter and as someone who puts things together for people to go to, I'm just not to the point to where I know it's safe and feel comfortable
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I'm not on...
Mad respect for that, too.
Yeah, I'm not on the other side, I'm not on the conspiracy side of this, but I'm also not on the super-duper pushed... be as careful as you can narrative, if that makes sense, which might be a flack thing. But, I'm like really I try to be like smack dab in the middle on it and exercise caution and do all that. But I also am secretly hoping that it's just not as bad as what we're told it is. I hope it's not that bad, just for everyone's safety and our own well-being and things getting back to normal,
I've heard that the rate at which it spreads is not as bad as initially thought in first estimations.
Again, yeah, but we all hear shit. Like we not to. Like,
I don't know what to believe.
Yeah,
anymore.
Exactly.
I have no idea what to fucking believe anymore.
Not discrediting you or you and your opinions are valid.
No, I know what you meant.
Your opinions are valid.
I know what you meant.
Yeah, it's a tricky fucking thing.
It's just there's a million different things being told.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is why, to me, it makes the most sense to be careful.
Just hold off a little bit longer.
I'm lucky I can work from home. I'm staying home a significant amount, except for like small indulgent instances.
No, I'm impressed with everyone not jumping a bit, like holding off a minute.
I've started seeing people a little bit more in the past couple weeks, but again, it's always really isolated. Maybe 2 other people, be it a rehearsal or like just a spaced hang.
even do you think if we opened up, but it was like sort of like, okay, things are open, but everyone needs to have like still practice social distancing. It's maybe not mandatory to wear a mask, maybe mandatory to wear a mask, but it's like things aren't back to normal, but like things start opening up again, where it's like.
Which is, I imagine that's the only place we can go from here. I haven't put a whole lot of thought into how to improve because it is out of my control. And, oh God, this whole period, which has been weird for everyone. This is not a unique experience. I'm not saying my experience is unique, but this, it's been a trip for me personally. Having a tour get canceled, like not being able to do the things publicly that I'd like kind of rearranged my life around. Like I just got a new computer and a better rig so that I can record at home just because, I can't go make music with people as freely as I used to. It's a very different dynamic.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's a different world. I see a lot of musicians doing online stuff, which I'm not trying to knock that at all. They're good on them. Like, you have to survive.
No, I totally feel you. I've even done some live streams.
Seen some stuff.
Yeah. And it's cool and it's okay, but I think it's very obvious that type of media is oversaturated right now.
Yeah.
It's another dude with an acoustic guitar. That's why I don't do it right now like that. Like I'll do other live streaming events, but I'm not trying super hard to just be another person playing guitar and singing on the internet.
You know what's funny is I really, really like Midnight Gospel, but it initially aired on Netflix like 2 weeks after I started my podcast, and it's so similar to what I want to do that like I'm like I love it, but it's that sucks that it was released at the same time because I can just imagine people being like, oh, you're trying to be like Midnight Gospel.
Hey man, it is totally and 100% just a happy coincidence, and it's like it's its own type of art. Like it's not strictly a podcast. It's not strictly a show. It's not strictly in anything. Just use it as inspiration, man.
Yeah.
Do something like it, but do something different.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, not like I was trying to do the same thing, but I just feel like a lot of the topics covered are things I'm interested in talking about. It's things you and I end up talking about anyway.
Yeah. To me, I think it's cool that something like that is that public because it was in like the Netflix top 10 for like a good couple weeks after it came out, and it's developed a pretty good following. Like it did way better than I thought it was going to do. Much love and respect to Duncan Trussell, Pendleton Ward, and Titmouse, the animation studio that did that.
Titmouse? Nice. Yeah, man, it's a trip. I thought that was so cool. When the episode starts out, it says who it's with. I'm like, Damien Eccles. I know who that is. Who is that? And I'm like, oh shit, it's that guy.
Have you gone back and listened to the actual podcast that he's on?
I didn't know there was something.
Yeah, so what is okay, so I wrestled with this when I figured this out. I had it in my head that they did every single one of those interviews in the studio for the show. This is not true, except for maybe a few. I think his moms might have been like in the studio for the show. David Nick Turns probably was a little bit, but a few to most of those conversations are actual bits of Duncan Trussell Family Hour that he interspersed with voices to cover what was going on.
So a lot of those interviews are a lot older than...
Yeah. The Damien Eccles interview is like from maybe 2018.
Really?
Or 2017. It's not a new one.
What an interesting guy, though.
Oh, yeah. Nah, my point being, go back and listen to that interview. It's a great interview. They cover
so there's more of it.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I
gotta check that out.
You're getting like the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, fuck yeah. I gotta check that out.
No, that's cool. So Duncan has a surprising amount of magic practicing individuals on his shows, which is kind of interesting to think about. That obviously means it's something that he supports and is about, even though I'm speaking about someone I don't even know personally. I hate this. Even though he predominantly seems to cite Buddhist and Eastern things,
Yeah.
Kind of like what we were talking about earlier. He very obviously supports and wants to put magic on a.
You know what's funny is that's
platform.
actually what him and Damien Eccles were talking about in part in that episode, is Western magic versus Eastern magic, and how Western magic's more get what you want fast because that's our mentality.
Oh, yes. Oh God, I just listened to something that like talks about that too. It's either another Duncan Trussell podcast or it's someone in that circle who interviews. It's Duncan. Duncan has another dude on there regularly who I think has an episode. I'm not sure. His name's David Horowitz. He's another occult author, magic practicing dude who like kind of backs up his like, this is my greatest issue, that I've faced, and that's like choosing between that Western idea of like grabbing, achieving, getting, making shit happen versus the Eastern idea of non-attachment, right? And he says, I hope I can do this justice. He says that we need to reflect upon how the spiritual things that were formed in certain time periods, we need to like pay attention to what was going on in society at that time too, because a lot of Eastern non-attachment style schools of thought stemmed from societies with caste systems that were completely fucking set in place.
With what system?
Caste systems, like societal caste systems. We can bullshit, we can talk shit on capitalism all we want because it kind of sucks, but like we have more fluid momentum now than previous generations of human beings, right?
Of course.
Yeah, exactly. That is
like
inevitably
obviously
true. Yeah,
obviously.
So that being said, our like spiritual hunger naturally is going to feed into that freedom.
Okay.
And he was pretty much giving his like, I lean Western because of this.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Because he thinks that pursuit and getting what you want can still be spiritual in the correct and healthy ways, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though I feel that though, I do the same thing. Sometimes I want nicer things. Sometimes I get them. Sometimes I use the non-attachment thing to justify where I'm at. It's a really weird balance of the two. I'd love to have more things. Sometimes
I think you have to learn how to be happy, but I don't think being content is necessarily good. You want to continue to climb. But I'm also an Aries, so it's like that's how I'm wired.
It also depends on your definition of climbing and the necessary steps to get there and what you want. Like what, happiness is like a weight. Happiness and contentment to me are far more abstract than we give them credit for, Like, what is it to you to be happy?
Well, what is that? You're right. What does that mean?
Yeah.
To be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at what times in your life have you been happy? And it's like,
you have
to different degrees,
you,
right?
You don't, all you have to do is like vaguely bring up memories of feeling that. You felt it. It's like something you never forget. It's there. Or do you?
I think it's, at least for me, I don't want to speak for everyone, but I feel like when I think about it, it's like I can think of a day where parts of the day I was really happy, but then I might not have been happy 10 minutes later.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, sort of like, I don't know. It reminds me of another conversation I was having with a friend where he was like, I think, we were tripping balls, but he was like...
Good context. Important.
He was like, dude, I think heaven and hell are the same thing. What changes is your perspective of it. So it's like, life isn't good or bad. It's what you observe it to be. So like...
well, you are the observer after all.
Yeah, so like if you die, let's say everyone goes to the same place, but some people appreciate it and some people absolutely hate it. It's sort of... not saying that's what happened, but it was a neat thought idea.
Yeah. There's different perspectives that can be taken upon the construct of what a heaven would be versus a hell.
Yeah. What if you get to heaven and you're just a cynical bastard and you hate it? You know, it's like, well, that's
Well,
healthy.
it's
That's
to
healthy.
me.
That's no longer heaven.
To me, it's an immature notion. It's like a golden fleece or something, like some type of reward. The notion of a reward waiting for you on the other side is almost laughable to me, and not even in the cynical way. That implies that somehow your model of how you live now is going to carry over to the other side, which I think it's become pretty clear that it's not.
How so?
Sorry, pretty clear to me vaguely, because anytime you get in a semi-spiritual state, be it psychedelic induced, meditation induced, or whatever, the thing you connect to is super intangible. The comfort I've received from the other side, or the comforting messages I've received from the universe, be them through states or tarot or like whatever, the messages are always one of comfort, but never one of promise of this kind of continuation. Like, it just feels like it's going to be different, which is a bullshit thing to say.
No,
Sorry,
I mean, it's a very
platform.
no. They're very vague things to talk about. Vague, esoteric things to talk about. It's like we're talking about, divination and visions. It's like
just another Friday, arguably.
Yeah. I think a lot of that stuff, it's what you make of it. So if you cast some cards down,
mm-hmm.
and you get an idea of what it means, like whatever that means to you is sort of your connection to that thing, and that's what the message is. You got the message intuitively.
Yeah, no, that's what's so cool about tarot. I've only done it once, but like having it, and like being around the energy of it, and like watching other people do it and talking to other people who do it is completely fascinating.
I would say, like, trust your first gut reaction you have with stuff like that, because what you're doing is an
I did
exercise.
Yeah, I did. Again, like DMT trip. Yo, dog, everything is cool. You're doing what you need to. Good job. Tarot trip. Yo, dog, you could probably do this a little bit better, but hey, you're doing great. You're gonna have a long, cool life. Chill. I'm an anxious person, so I feel like any chance I have for a weird otherworldly thing to be like, hey, no, you're good, bro. Keep doing it. You're doing great. I have like a cosmic energy supportive mom. I have a really supportive mom.
That's your guardian angel, you could say. You could poeticize.
Yeah, which is why I want to go do ayahuasca within the next year or two.
Dude,
it's like moving in that direction. I keep incessantly.
Do you have a location in mind?
Yeah. So the podcast I was telling you about, Third Eye Drops, Michael Phillip, who is the host and the lead guitarist of, not lead guitarist, I don't know what his position is, but one of the guitarists in Circa Survive, Colin Franginetto. I probably messed his last name up. But
you were telling me about this earlier.
Yeah, they go and they do ayahuasca at this place called Blue Morpho. Don't click on the Blue Morpho website unless you want targeted ayahuasca ads on Instagram and Facebook. That shit's really fucking weird. But I'm in a demographic. I want a list now. But they go.
You're
down,
that guy.
Yeah. But they go down to Blue Morpho in a town in Peru that's name I don't remember. And they do an interview before they leave on the flight. And then they do 3 post interviews where they interview the shaman, one of the shamans that was there, and talk about it. And then they interview each other and try and recollect their experiences.
Nice.
I cannot define it any further than just some like weird intuition based thing that's like, yo, dog, let's go. Also, I've been to Peru before I knew what it was, and I feel like that's too weird of a coincidence for me to already have some like inclined reason. Or my ex, like that I was with for like 6 years, she was like all about going to Peru. And so I had that in my head for a long time. And then I had a friend post split up who randomly helped me go to Peru with him and another friend. None of that being my choice. And so to have that much of a draw to that region, where that is, and then me be interested in it still afterwards, is just too coincidental for me. I'm like, okay, I
You're
guess.
being pulled to
Like, and
the rope around you.
Yeah, I'm not trying to fight it. I'm like, cool, is it. I'm going to go do this.
Right on, man. That's something I'd love to do. It's on my bucket list.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny, man, because
peyote too.
People have like, there's 3 reactions you get when you talk about ayahuasca. One's like, what?
Yeah, huh?
Another's like, dude, I don't know. That's so rough. Like, that's so bad. You know, people who are into this side of the culture but aren't even interested in it. You know, you don't. And I guess
it's like too much for them.
I guess the third type is like people like, I didn't really think that whole fucking diagram through.
Yeah.
But the third one is just people like me and you who are down to try it.
Yeah. I hate to be such a bad guest, but I have the bladder of a rabbit.
Dude, you're good.
Pee again.
You're okay.
But before I go, the next thing I wanted to ask you guys, do you believe in aliens? Now let me. There's 2 questions here.
Yeah.
Do you believe in extraterrestrial aliens? And then do you believe in interdimensional aliens? Like things not necessarily from space, but from a different plane. So I guess the first question would be extraterrestrials. Do you guys believe in from outer space?
I do.
I mean, the government confirmed them this year, so or at least UFOs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally think they're real. I just have no specific examples to cite other than watching a documentary on Roswell with my dad when I was in 3rd grade and getting really fucking scared. Do you think one is more likely than the other? What do you think is more likely? Like aliens living in space or beings living in other dimensions that can pop in and out of here? Which one do you think we're interacting with first?
On the dimensional one, I'd say that's already going on for sure.
To what extent?
Well, when you do DMT, you meet the DMT goddess. She's a 4-dimensional creature that slips in and out of like the 4D walls and pops in and out of your.
Is that something that was like explained to you, or is that something that you just kind of felt and you knew?
That's something that I felt and knew because she would like hide behind these corners and smirk, and right when you catch a glimpse of her, she'd slip back behind the corner, and like you'd kind of venture off into it and keep exploring.
It's interesting to me that she's a DMT goddess, because another thing that popped up in some podcasts that I was listening to today earlier was the notion of.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Sorry, go ahead. I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Still.
You're checking it.
That's my bad.
You're controlling your baby. It's fine. Anyways, I'm gonna fucking cite Third Eye Drops a lot because that's been a huge inspiration and source of learning to me over the past year or so. But on the episode I was listening to today, they were talking about the notion of like, you know, we're 3 bros, you know. He saw a DMT goddess, you know. If I keep trying, and you saw an old lady, right?
Yeah.
You saw. Anyways, we see the thing that is opposite of us. That yours is different, but for us or for him, it could be like a attraction to like the spiritual. It's like the perfect spiritual opposite of you. Like, what would we not want other than some dope interdimensional, like cool, attractive female spirit? It's just, it's just comforting. Yeah. It's cool. And I have no sources to cite, but they were talking today about how, like, you know, a lot of women have talked about seeing, you know, male guys,
really,
things like that. Yeah, and I believe the word for it is anima.
Anima, yeah,
yeah,
it's an archetype.
Okay.
So anima.
Thank you.
You've seen catch. You've seen Lion King.
Boy, have I! Not the new one. I didn't even want to. I
forgot about that.
I don't even want their extra stream from me on Disney Plus. I refuse to watch that.
I haven't seen it either, and I don't care to. But you know, OG Lion King. I just can't wait to be king.
Yeah. And the Broadway play. Broadway play was dope.
I haven't seen that either.
Do it.
I went to Disney World and saw like a live action.
That counts. That counts.
Musical thing.
Those are cool. Disney World musicals are on point.
Yeah. But Nala from Lion King.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard it described as I believe it was Jordan Peterson talking about it, but I've heard it described as so it's an archetype in stories where it's the woman drawing the man out of the boy. So like
Okay.
Nala, she finds Simba fucking around with his bros playing Xbox, eating grubs.
I missed that scene.
just being like fat, disgusting, just sitting on the couch not doing anything. And she's like, hey, we really need you at the Lion Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And like you need to like grow up and take responsibility. And he becomes a man. It's his coming of age story.
Mm-hmm.
And she's the one who like draws that out of him in a very direct way. And she gives him a reason to fight.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what that archetype is, anima. And I believe there's a male archetype for that as well, whenever it's vice versa.
Yeah, that was discussed.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those instances where I like leaned in and out of the thing I was listening to, unfortunately, because attention's hard sometimes.
Yeah.
Pretty phone, big phone, lights. Would we also throw Helen of Troy into that category?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She inspires action. Actually, I wouldn't mind just ranting about archetypes for a minute.
Let's do it.
Like,
Throw them on the table.
so like, there's something about archetypes that seem to be like, okay, so like Superman or like Captain America. It's like these are characters that were invented in World War II,
Mm-hmm.
when really what a lot of people needed is like this young boys with their dads at war. It's like this strong male archetype that is going to save the day and like take charge of the situation and rectify things that are bad. He's going to take out the enemy. It's blatant propaganda, actually, but like
American infused kick-ass propaganda.
yeah.
We'll pay money to see.
Diesel fueled. But there's something about archetypes. Like another archetype, obviously, would be Jesus Christ. He's like the archetype of a teacher, of a Messiah, and
to a certain extent, sacrifice, and not sacrifice, but like the notion
martyr.
Martyr. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for. Yes.
Self-sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's something about when you hear a story like that it resonates with something deep within you, like it's instinctual. Like I think stories like that, they don't really. It's not like someone came up with the idea of Jesus, even though I don't think it was divinely inspired or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like someone came up with the idea of Jesus. It's like the idea of Jesus has existed since the beginning of man, because there's always been virtuous people to stand out among us. And we've carried that story with us into the future. Because actually there were many different sort of Messiah figures that performed miracles reported at the time of Jesus. Like there was a guy called Apollonius of Tyana.
I'm familiar with the idea that the story of Jesus has happened before and in other versions. I am just undereducated and not well versed on specific examples of those, but it is
The Bible,
it is to my understanding that maybe Egyptians, maybe
Horus has some similarities to Jesus.
Yeah, and then I'm thinking of Mesopotamia. I'm thinking of Babylon. I'm thinking of things like that. The cradle of civilization style things.
Yeah,
it's a style of myth that's been around for a while.
Right. Yeah. It's just my point was archetypes exist with us. Like it's part of our story. You know, like anima. How true is anima? It's like you're a lazy bum, and then a lady comes around and inspires you to action.
She's like, I guess I'll do that.
She's like, hey, you need to like clean up your room or like, you know, like fix your shit. And it's
I
like,
think
you know what?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's equal parts the archetype though, and it's equal parts like innate human / male desire. Or, you know, it doesn't even have to boil down to male specifically.
Right.
It is a masculine type of energy potentially that leads itself to you wanting to improve yourself to acquire the affection of a mate.
Right.
I'm going to go as far as to remove gender from the whole thing. It's just like a thing that happens.
Sure. I wish I had phrased it better. Yeah. Either gender could fulfill that role. It's like, you know, you could say that a woman, you know, she's inspired to action because she wants to be worthy of her husband. So she betters herself.
It boils down to emotional needs and, you know, wanting something other than yourself, wanting to be a part of it. It's very basic.
It's a call to action, sort of.
It's a semi-religious call to action.
Yeah. A religious calling.
Yeah. Which, you know, you'd think we're talking about it and we're like theorizing upon it, but it is the most basic thing that has ever happened. If people hadn't have fallen in love, not a single one of us would be here right now.
It's like, it's all we know how to do, actually. Like, we're all just bumbling around this earth with no one asked to be here, as far as we know.
Relationships are treated as like a very weird final
it's the
end of the road thing.
That's what you do.
Yeah, it's like you settle down and you set up a house. It's a huge part of the American dream, quote unquote. And it's just interesting. Relationships are interesting to me. I think I've had my good share of rough spots and good ones, but they're always something that have seemed to define me as a person. It's something that will twist you from being like a hopeless romantic to being a little bit pseudo-cynical.
Yeah, for sure. I think the opposite sex or same sex, depending on your preference, is always part of the journey, like a big part of how you're shaped.
Yeah, for sure. My most definitive moments have been either within the context of a relationship and trying to make improvements and communicate within that, or post it, you know, like looking at everything that fucking went wrong and being like, okay, well, this was because of this, you know, it's, you have like a phoenix thing going on after it. That was imagery. That's imagery I hold dear to myself post every breakup. Just like, you know,
I don't want to get into details too much, but I recently started seeing someone, and I see like ways that other relationships I've been in went wrong. And it's like you can avoid those pitfalls because you have experience. Like
you leveled up, which is why, you know, it's okay to like hoe around and like see a lot of people and like try a bunch of times. It's totally okay. We have
just
to
throw yourself out there.
Yeah, we have to learn how to be a functioning person in a functioning relationship. You know, I'm really glad my first relationships didn't work out. I didn't know what I was doing. Neither did they.
Me too.
Yeah, you know.
Me too.
And now it's like something to look back on and cherish the good parts, learn from the bad, and move forward. You know, it's a thing that happened, and it's beautiful. I'm still friends with a decent amount of people that I, you know, might have been involved with, and I like that. You know, I like continuing that dialogue. I like being able to be people afterwards. You know,
dude,
cool.
I feel the same way. Like I'm really good with.
You don't have to be best friends, but if you can still talk, that's cool.
That's why is it that so many like relationships, people just explode and they hate each other afterwards. Like it doesn't have to be that way.
It doesn't have to. Oh God. You see some bad ones. You see some real bad ones.
Oh yeah. The worst is when like you have mutual friends, and it's like
it's like a divorced parent. Like I don't know. You get this one. I'll take this one.
Yeah. Well, I've never like, you know, because I've been in that situation, and for me, it's like I don't care. Even if I do have a problem with this person, I don't care if you associate with them. I'm not the authority on who you spend time with.
That is the way to be.
That's so petty.
But low key. Isn't it nice when someone preemptively picks your side without having to ask you? Doesn't it feel good? Oh, loyalty.
I guess a little bit.
Not that I would ever openly endorse that, but
I know what you mean.
Yeah. It's like
that's funny.
I don't want you to be that way, but thank you.
So, was that a yes and a yes on aliens? On extraterrestrial, extra dimensional?
To an
Yeah.
extent, I totally believe that there's the possibility of extraterrestrial life. As far as like interdimensional things, there's totally spirits. There's totally energies. I don't know what they are, but they're here.
Dude, your answer is the same as mine. Like, I watched Bob Lazar. Pretty sure there's
How
aliens.
bad is that documentary? It's so cheesy.
The documentary was really bad. I liked him on Joe Rogan.
Yeah, it's a great episode.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic
I
episode.
love listening to him talk about it. I thought the director on that documentary was so cheesy.
Dude, like, what does it open up with him like getting the text that he's being rated? Like, oh, it's so bad. It's like, why would you insert yourself like that, man?
Yeah.
Man.
He wants to ride that wave.
Well, yeah, dude. But it's just, man. Okay, as an artist, like, we all want to do that.
Yeah.
We're all trying to make something that like projects us into social status and consciousness. That's not the end game, but physically, if you want to make money off of your art, and if you want to be an artist, it involves some aspect of social recognition, no matter what.
Networking.
Yeah. So, but it's not like people are making paintings and then standing beside it the whole time. That's what that was.
That's what that is, you're right.
Yeah.
Putting yourself in your own
I
movie.
made this.
Oh my god, that is what that is.
That'd be like me releasing an album and then like providing commentary under each track. Like, well, I was really thinking about this, when I wrote this.
I was thinking about
Sitting on a futon in my college dorm.
listening to K-pop.
Yeah.
I was really into K-pop when I wrote this.
I'm not there yet, man. I like everything I hear, but I just don't have the courage or power to download a whole album and check it out.
That's not my cup of tea either.
The production is dope. I have like a few friends that like exclusively share K-pop, and I appreciate it because it's like I'm able to stay culturally on top.
Yeah.
I knew about BTS before they blew up. Do I know any of their songs? No. Did I know who they were? Yeah.
Did you see what Rob Zombie said about Baby Metal?
No, but I'm very interested.
Apparently, he either did an entire tour with them or partial tour with them.
Okay.
And
damn, I wish I could have seen that.
like,
Shit.
I know, right? That sounds
God.
insane, doesn't it?
Oh.
But apparently, like on Twitter, someone was like, I can't believe you would endorse these girls. Like, they're trash. They're not real metal. Like,
whoa.
and he was like, these girls are
Bitch.
so much more metal than anyone who would comment on a Facebook feed or like on Twitter or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It was like, these girls are way more metal than you are. They're out here busting their balls on tour. Like, they're working out here, putting on shows, man.
Yeah.
And enough that he's like, I want to tour with these bitches.
And the choreography, everything it's
Baby
dynamite.
Metal's hell, fuck yeah.
I appreciate the showmanship. Do you need another brewski?
I'm gonna get a Corona actually.
All right.
You wouldn't happen to have a bottle opener, would you?
Yes, on my keychain.
You're the man.
Because I drank that much.
No, I'm good.
And you know what? I like using this keychain, and I like talking about it.
Tell me about it.
Because it was so Breely, drummer singer of Hollywood Horses, won tickets to go to Third Man Records' 10th anniversary bash thing. The Rack and Tours headline. It was really cool, and it was free. But we both paid a lot of money for drinks. It was like $25 for like 3 drink tickets. Something
Holy shit.
fucking stupid.
Dude, Mafioso's here in Nashville.
I am familiar. I don't think I've eaten it, but I'm familiar.
I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this, but
We're gonna find out.
I guess we're gonna find out. I had a friend that I'm not sure if he still works there or not. But they do a New Year's bash for their employees every year. They shut down the store
On New Year's, they do it
It's either on New Year's or around the date. I can't remember.
okay.
And all the employees get to come in, and it's a party with an open bar. Like you just
open bars are the best.
Free drinks.
Yeah.
And so he didn't have a date, so he took me as his plus one. And I was like, fuck yeah.
Dude, I'll be your date for free drinks. Holler at me.
So I got goddamn wasted off of just like whatever they were giving away for free vodka, like the cheap vodka they had. And
a fucking skull.
I was like I like hopped up on a table and was like dancing. And I just remember at the end of the night, there was like a dance floor. They had like cleared away some tables to make room, and they had like disco lights, strobe lights. Mm-hmm. And I had like found a corner, sat down cross-legged, and just like slept out, like hunched over and slept. For I don't know how long. Until...
Oh, so you were like too turned, is what you're telling me.
Oh, I drank so much. I have no idea.
Good. I'm happy for you.
It was free drinks. I didn't even work there. Like it was only employees, but. And like they're plus ones.
You came in on a mission. You were like, all right,
none
of these people will ever. I have no social standards.
Yeah, I did. I knew one person there. And I saw him for like just part of the night because.
Oh man! Oh, that's cool. That's interesting.
I got so drunk and was just dancing. I didn't even care. I was just.
Which I guess I don't know. There was like plenty of other plus ones there probably too. Yeah. Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm not going to. I actually might have named them earlier, but I'm not going to rename my company. But we have several open bar events during like Christmas and stuff, and that's what I look forward to all year.
Nice.
It's so nice. It's so nice.
It was epic. That sounds really cool. I wish my place of business did things like that. I guess just real quick for me to answer the question, I think there's probably extraterrestrials. Like, I'm pretty sure there's life outside of Earth, like from outer space.
Are you into like the Dogons and the whole Flower of Life? I can't even think of how to say his name. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like
I'm not even sure I know what you're talking about, really.
Another instance of me diving into something that I have a loose recollection of. But Trunsilo Medelchik or something like that. I butchered his name. Hold on, I'm going to look that up while I talk about it. But anyways, he has a book called The Flower of Life, Volume 1, and he has the alleged secret history of the universe and like where we all come from. And how do you say it? Is it Toth? Is it
Thoth?
Thoth? Is that how you say it? Do you know?
That's how I say it.
Does anyone know the actual way to say it? Oh, I didn't download Chrome on this. Sorry, new phone.
Maybe someone in the comments does.
Yeah. Shout us out.
Which I haven't checked in like an hour.
I saw, who was it? Quentin from You and Me and Me and You said something at the beginning.
Yeah.
I hope
he said have a good night or something like that.
I hope he listened to at least part of this. I love him.
Dude, I would love to have Rachel and Q on.
I miss Rachel and Q. They're great.
Next time they come down, definitely gotta try and meet up and do something like this.
Yeah, that'd be great. I also would love to see them play music.
You and Me and Me and You. I only saw them a couple of times before they left.
They played that basement show, right? Did they? The one that Quality Party played?
At my old place?
No. This was... Actually, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Joey's place? Did they? They played one of them, yeah. Oh, that's right, yes. Yeah, they played when you guys played. That's right.
Okay, cool. I was trying... Because, yeah, it was Joey's band, us, and then them, I think.
I was...
Yeah, because I remember fucking dancing and doing dumb shit afterwards.
I was so drunk. There's footage of that night, and I was really obnoxiously drunk.
This is the person I'm talking about. Drun Valo Melchizedek.
Wow.
He wrote this book, The Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life, an edited transcript of the Flower of Life workshop presented live to Mother Earth from...
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So okay, so this ancient history, is it something you discovered or something you wrote, sort of channeled?
Yes, both. I think it's something he was like looking into, and then hold on, I want to find out how you pronounce Toth. Thank you, technology, for existing and being parts of my brain that I don't have.
Yeah, we're merging already. We're already.
I mean, yeah. Here we are.
I mean, that's what a human being is nowadays, is an interaction.
Is a cyborg.
Yeah.
There's. Okay, I have no idea how to pronounce his name. I want to say Toth. I like that. That makes me happy inside.
So, he wrote a book about the true origins of the universe, or of Earth, or like humanity, or.
Let me give you the Wikipedia of it, so
Yeah.
I can make sure. Because it's been several years, but I read it. I finished it in Peru, and one of the things that it talked about, if I can recollect this before I dive into what the internet tells me it is the Earth has energy centers on a grid, right?
Oh, I've heard about this. Yeah.
And somehow repairing this grid can bring the entire planet to Christ consciousness, or we're all trying to ascend. We were on a different level of consciousness. Here, I can give the quick play-by-play. And just destroy my credibility as a researcher and intellectual, which was already in shambles. The flower of life is something that has, I don't have to explain that to you, right? You're aware of like what the flower of life is and why it's a thing.
Is that sort of like, is that a poeticism of the blossoming of the universe?
Yes, in a
Okay.
certain extent. It is the shape in which spirit formed.
Okay.
And it is what all things come out of, because it's like a two-dimensional image, and then you can create three-dimensional images within certain points on that images.
Okay.
It is literally like the center of what everything sprung out from.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a... There's even...
That's why it's the flower of life. It's the... yeah.
Another good outlet for this is the spirit science videos on YouTube.
Spirit science.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Let's talk about some spirit science.
Okay, cool. That is what this is, for all intents and purposes. Same channel. Same... That everything they animate is from this book.
I follow another YouTuber that... apparently, spirit science used to... You remember Newgrounds? Way back in the day?
Boy, do I.
Yeah. He was a Newgrounds Flash animator before Spirit Science. That guy.
I can tell. That makes sense. Okay.
And
Damn.
so that character, he had his little avatar with the patches on it.
Yeah.
That was an existing character from his Newgrounds days.
Oh, that's fascinating.
And I watched another YouTuber that he was a Newgrounds kid also. And so he goes way back with spirit science. And he was talking about how... So recently, the spirit science guy made this video talking about how during one of his meditations, he was astral projecting. And,
if only.
And he came into contact with Christ. And Christ,
what's up, fam?
Christ sort of told him, you shouldn't be trying to contact me. There's a female Christ figure on earth with you today. And so it pointed him to none other than Emma Watson. And so he went from talking to Christ to talking to Emma Watson, who he believes to be the female personification of Christ in modern time. And so in the astral plane, he was talking to Emma Watson, which I don't know Emma Watson's comments on any of this. He was just sort of going on a rant. It'd be hilarious. It'd be so funny if Emma Watson comes out and she's like, yeah, I was there. I was also astral projecting. We had a little meet up. And
No, I want to know, like, what the reasoning and support is behind that. I'm not going to deny Homeboy's claim immediately, but I also like you need something more on the table than just that. I really don't care if Space Jesus tells you that
if you're familiar with his work, that's a lot of what he says. Is he'll go on a tangent and then he won't like back up or say how he knows that. It's sort of like he gets on to the next thing. Like
which is my whole issue with a lot of the esoteric things that we can occasionally encounter. Again, third eye drops. Michael Phillips. Michael Phillips calls it woo-woo stuff. And I love that description. Like, it's just a little too woo-woo. You know?
Yeah.
And his defense is that, like, he won't let that on his podcast, right? That's his, like, threshold, right? Like, if he gets a weird feeling about what the other person is about, he's not going to let them on his podcast.
That's probably a good rule to live by.
Yeah, right. Take it to heart as you search for future linguistic entrepreneurs to bring upon your program. This is cool, man. Thanks for having me. This is fun.
No problem, man. I think it is fun, and I think maybe it's my delusions of grandeur, but I also think things like this are important. Just people come together, sharing ideas.
They're very important.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool teamwork aspect to it too. It's not as like ego driven as something like music would be. And I think the fact that this is happening live is also cool. And I
no editing. We can't go back and make ourselves look good. This is just a conversation.
Which again, sorry about the video thing. Sorry I got all anal about that.
Hey man, dude, no problem.
Cool,
dude, no problems whatsoever, man.
Cool.
Yeah, we're just out here trying to do something with the zeitgeist.
Trying to bend ahead. Trying
to not in an arrogant way, but improve the zeitgeist in our own minor little way.
No, right. I love talking about these things. I wish I had more people to do it with, which I'm blessed because I have more and more people either popping up that are down to do that, or I have more people than ever that can hear me out. So I'm like, I feel like I'm heading in the right direction, but also, I have figureheads to just like jump on Spotify and listen to, like philosophical, spiritual figureheads. I feel weird putting some podcasters on that pedestal, but that's totally what's going on, and it's really awesome. I really support the podcast movement. Right?
It's because it's such sort of a new format.
But, mm-hmm.
But it can be really impactful.
It's a very free-form way to explore thought
I love it.
Ideas, and there's such an amount of current context in it because the two people that are talking about it are not planned. Even if it is edited, it's still a real organic thing that's happening.
Yeah. I would have someone on that like I really disagreed with too. Like just to like have an organic conversation. Like I know we've talked about this off air, but like really my objective here is like I'm gonna have several people on at a time and just have sort of a fluid conversation. And so there will be sort of a cycling cast where you see a lot of the same characters reoccurring. Yeah. So anytime you want to come on and kick the shit, man.
I mean, I'll happily show up and do whatever from here on out.
Fuck yeah.
Now that I've had a taste.
Like it'd be cool if something became of this, but I like just doing this for fun. It's therapeutic for me. So.
No, this is cool. This is nice. This is like I've had many worse Fridays. This is cool. It's a nice way to cap this. Yeah.
I wonder how long we've been going. Let me check real quick.
Pretty long, man. I've got a lot of messages.
Yeah. We could probably
leaving a lot of people hanging.
Yeah. We've been going for an hour and 40 minutes. We could probably start wrapping it up here.
It's respectful. That's about my threshold.
Yeah.
Like if I'm listening to something.
I can't believe it's been that long, actually. Like, I know it's been a minute. I didn't realize it was that long. Yeah.
Job well done, boys.
You're just asleep over there. You were like basically asleep when we started.
Have y'all been sleeping okay during this mess?
I've slept like shit the last 2 nights.
I haven't been sleeping at all.
I've been staying up late the past couple of nights. I've actually been better. I've changed my room around, and I think the positioning of my bed now is cozier for me. I went from like in the middle under a window to like back in a corner, so I feel like more secluded.
I also like to be
it's just so much nicer. That's beyond the point. I was having a really hard time sleeping for most of this. Like,
really?
Yeah, I think part of it was a bad room choice. I like moved back in March, and then I didn't like the room I was in. So as soon as our like kind of sort of roommate moved out, I moved into his room, and then as soon as I got my computer set up, I was like, fuck, I can't fit it in here unless I move shit around again. So I've like changed my living space like 3 or 4 times over the past 2 or 3 months, which is more than I normally do as a stubborn tourist. But yeah, during a lot of that, like I just couldn't fucking sleep well.
I got you. It's just been the last couple nights for me.
But, yeah. What have y'all's dreams been like lately?
Dreams?
UFOs.
Yeah. I'm not a vivid dreamer, to be honest with you.
But y'all haven't had any during this? Because I've been dreaming more during this.
I had a dream that we were running away from some UFOs, and they were like 20 feet away. Huge.
Like generic look? What do they look like? Generic looking UFOs, or like?
They were kind of like saucers, almost, but they wasn't just a saucer. It was almost like a saucer, but then had additions on the top and bottom, and they were just kind of flying however they wanted. It was real freaky.
What have you dreamt about?
Man, all kinds of things. I've been keeping a dream journal.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you lucid dream? That helps with lucid dreaming.
So, right, that's why I did it.
Live renewal.
Yep, that's why I did it. Yeah, thank you for letting me borrow your
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for letting me borrow Terrence McKenna book I can't remember the name of.
Yeah, True Hallucinations.
Yes.
Yeah. So before I touch on what I wanted to touch on, I will say that as much as I love reading about magic, it's making me realize that I don't retain as well as I'd like to.
It's a lot.
So, yeah, because I immediately read Condensed Chaos afterwards.
Oh, I haven't even touched Condensed Chaos.
Yeah, my buddy JC let me borrow it, and it's cool, but like, I've done one instance of sigil magic, and I combined it with some other thing, like really willy-nilly. It's just like, I can't explain it. I just like went with my gut for like a solid 30 minutes. I went from like, I think I'm going to start trying shit today to like having a plan for like a candle carving and like lighting something, doing a sigil, carving that sigil, doing a tarot reading at the end of it. Like I did my first like real ritual a few weeks back. But still, like I need to go back and reread both Liber Null and Condensed Chaos and like actually take notes and try to retain it and make it like something I'm trying to learn, which sounds sad objectively, but it's just like, you know.
I understand because I read Liber Null. Like I had a bunch of sticky notes like just so I could go back and like reference things. Yeah,
I was a little nervous with sigil magic for a bit because the two things I read in Liber Null and Condensed Chaos were a little conflicting. Liber Null was really about this. To what I remember, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but Liber Null seemed to be like at the highest point in the ritual, you like burn it or destroy it, and that's like you releasing it into the universe. Whereas Condensed Chaos is all about keeping it.
So that's funny you ask. So there's several different kinds of sigils, and I actually do. So if you're going to burn it, you can. It's actually, I like to think of it in terms of magic, but if you think about it, it's actually just science. Because what you can do is you can make something that has, say you want to get over the loss of a loved one. Mm-hmm. You could, you're in tears, you have all this emotion. You can make a sigil about this loved one, and then pour all of that energy into it while you're making it. Like make a piece of art, spend your time with it, and then burn it And then as you're burning it, like try to let them out of your mind. And it's not going to be this, miraculous thing where you never remember them again, but it's an exercise. It's actually a form of, what do you call it? Hypnosis, self-hypnosis.
I tell people all the time that I think magic's cool because it's essentially metaphysical programming. It is the same principles that operate around things like The Secret and any law of attraction style thing. Mm-hmm. It's just like you performing a literal ritual that you have conducted a system of belief, or you have come up with a system of belief to place into that you are using to convince yourself that what you're asking the universe will happen. Yeah,
that's a really
which is why I'm now that I'm deeper into it, I'm not as worried about logistics, right? Like I kind of just want to develop my own system and try. But prior, I was super hesitant because I didn't want to do something wrong. But
you do need to be careful because, like, okay, so there's that kind of making a sigil. Mm-hmm. Then, like on my Instagram, I make a lot of sigils.
I've noticed, they're cool.
Those are not, personal sigils. Those are activated, not when I burn them, but when someone sees it.
Yeah.
Because it's not it's you can think of it like Inception. Have you seen the movie Inception?
Boy.
Putting an idea into someone's head.
Yeah.
Without them realizing that you've done that. So the sigil is, the meaning is still there where they can subconsciously pick up on it, but they don't readily, it's not like spelled out for them where they can readily see what it is. So it puts it into their mind where they think it's their own idea. But you have to be really careful with that kind of stuff because that it works. You want to be careful of what you're.
No, I think that does work, and I think I can get at the edges of what you're saying. Any symbol that exists ultimately only exists in our minds based upon the power that we give it. Kind of like, to me, I'm thinking of the Illuminati eye and the weird, like, mysterious power that thing has, like the pyramid eye
on the dollar,
or any of it, because it's like. It's like kind of in psychedelic things too. There's a lot of eyes everywhere. It escapes beyond the American dollar.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of esoteric imagery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Ankh, right? Like we've all kind of agreed upon that as being like a energy flowing thing. Mm-hmm. All religious symbols like yin and yang from the Tao. Like the notion of balance, like the eternal balance, and the way it like feeds into itself.
There's a really deep, profound understanding in simple symbols like that. Like the yin and yang is a great example.
They are almost like memes.
Yes, like memes. Memes are just hieroglyphics.
That's it.
Memes are hieroglyphics.
God damn it, he's right.
There's actually my friend was showing me that there's a hieroglyphic of a frog sitting at what looks to be a computer, and he was like, "Check it out, it's Pepe."
Please look into that and find that. I have to have that.
Yeah,
I want that to be the first thing on my phone.
There's an Egyptian god called Kek, which on 4chan, Kek it's a misspelling of LOL, like because it's so close to So, Kek is this frog, Pepe, and he's the god of of chaos, but for a purpose. Like sort of when you have a system that's flawed, and you break it to rebuild it. He's the god of that kind of chaos, like constructive chaos. And what is the internet if not just fucking
constructive chaos?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I've seen some shit that would not make me lean towards that area of belief. But for 70 to 80%, yes.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
I'm good, man. Thank you. Appreciate that.
One more thing I wanted to say about extraterrestrials, probably, just based on what I've heard. Interdimensional, absolutely, because I've seen too many things in my own personal experience to say otherwise. Like, there's certainly something, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, something bigger than us in a dimensional sense at the very least. Mm-hmm. And this is sort of a difficult concept to wrap your head around, but in my experience with like talking to spirits, like working with spirits, Ouija boards, looking at flames, meditation, channeling. It seems to be, it definitely feels external, like it's something that exists outside of you that you're speaking to. But I have a friend, one of my best friends is like, I would call him a staunch atheist. And he and I talk about these sort of things a lot. He keeps me grounded because he usually has, he has a scientific.
Is this the dude that was at your house when I stopped by?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
He's my other roommate.
Cool.
Yeah. He'll have a scientific explanation for what I assume to be spiritual. And, I really appreciate that because I can go off, and like lean the other way drastically. And, but what I think in my experience with it, because I've played around with it quite a bit at this point in my life, and what I've arrived at in my own experience is that these things you're talking to are both not you and simultaneously you in a paradoxical way that doesn't really make sense. And I can't explain it better than that, but really it's like there's a part of you, of that thing within you, and then that thing exists on its own also. So if you had something like love, like just a love incarnate, like say love exists on its own as just its own thing, and you could talk to it, like you can say like you're talking to just the embodiment of love. You can't alter love. You can't make love hate because then it's no longer love.
But love also cannot exist without hate being a known entity in our minds. We would not understand love without hate.
I think love could change you. It could alter your perspective. But love itself, I don't think it's alive in that sense where it can be altered the way the human mind can.
No, right, yeah. No,
so these gods, like, I say love, but you could say Odin or Loki or Lucifer. All these people, they can't... they're not alive in the sense that you can alter the way they think about things, because the way they think about things is what makes it that thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, they don't. They don't exist in any more sense than how they affect you and how we universally agree with how they affect all of us. It's a thing. It is a tangible thing that we have given name, precedence, and power to, as obscure and invisible as it is.
Yeah.
It might have a name. I just don't know how it's supposed to tell me its name because I can't talk to it.
We should.
It's objectively a little frustrating.
I'd like to sit down with you at the board sometime and just see what happens. That'd be fun.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Let's.
It'd be funny if we did it on camera.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Baby steps.
I was just kidding.
I don't know, man. Give me like a few more years and maybe I'll be comfortable with just like tripping nuts and.
I thought you were gonna say a few more beers.
No. Few more years, what's the difference? But yeah, I don't know. It'd be fascinating to videotape what happens during a psychedelic and Ouija board induced evening. I just don't know if I'd be cool with doing it live.
No,
that's the difference. I would like some crowd control.
I didn't mean that. I feel like just knowing that was there would totally throw off the vibe and kind of kill it to begin with.
We'd summon the Zuck. We'd summon the Zuck himself.
You rang? Just rises out of the board.
Smoked meats.
You summoned the Zuck, now get fucked.
What are you doing, Mr. Zuckerberg? I'm just smoking those meats. Oh God, destroy it.
His true reptilian form just like sort of appears. Just slides between the cracks in the walls, like that one thing you're talking about.
Have you seen the? It's a GIF. Or GIF. What's the
GIF?
I just wanted to know what is commonly accepted because I forget.
If I really don't care what other people call it. If you say anything but GIF, that's incorrect.
Okay,
in my book.
Cool. That's fine. Cool. We will leave it at that. I'm not here to argue. But the GIF of Mark Zuckerberg like drinking water at
Yes.
his trial with all
Yes.
the numbers like initiate human protocol. Oh man.
I have heard humans enjoy water. I will try it.
And you know what's the beautiful thing about the internet? Someone saw that footage and was like, I know what I'm going to do. I know what needs to be done here.
There was a stoner somewhere.
Yeah, somebody was like, I'm gonna invest hours of my life into making strangers chuckle, and god damn it, that made me chuckle.
What a fucking hero. What a hero. Yeah, pour one out for that guy, whoever made that guy.
I don't want to ruin your carpet with this beer, so I'm gonna pour it out directly into my stomach.
Do that. I'd also rather you didn't pour it on the carpet.
This is a new place. This is nice.
Thank you. As you can see, I need to move some furniture around.
That will never change.
Yeah.
Ever. Not in regards to how you live your life, but in regards to just the nature of moving.
What life will do.
Yeah. It's hard. I've got like boxes and boxes of shit that I haven't unpacked from 2 moves ago.
I think, yeah. Wait, it's funny. We moved this. You see, like this bed frame.
Yeah.
We brought this bed frame here, and like took all the screws out, and we had the screws in a little bag.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got here and realized we left all the little screws
Oh my god.
for it. And then when we went back, they were gone. Someone had thrown them all away. So we just have to throw away this giant bed. It's actually a bunk bed.
Can't you look online and see if you can order screws to it?
Probably, but I don't think anyone here really wants to go through the hassle of doing it. I think we're all just too lazy to do that.
Dude, this
To be honest with you.
Yeah. Okay, no, I feel that. You could at least probably donate it to Goodwill or something.
That's true. Probably, yeah.
I don't know. That's a lot of stealing shit.
Yeah, that's a lot to be thrown away. You're right.
Where is your restroom?
It is, if you go back this way and to the left.
Cool.
First door on the left. How you doing?
Good.
I'm glad you're good.
Pretty hot.
Nice. I think we're gonna go ahead and close up here. It's getting pretty late.
Yeah, I need to.
But we're right at 2 hours.
I got a bunch of stuff to do tomorrow.
I'll take you home in a minute.
Oh yeah,
My friend, I'm looking through the comments. My friend Devin says it's GIF, but it's spelled. So like, how would I know what he's trying to pronounce it as?
I think that's the point.
Oh, maybe that is the point.
It's GIF. It's GIF. Jiffy. Galactic informative funnel. GIF.
So you think Bulbasaur is telling the truth and everything?
I mean, I don't have a reason to doubt him.
Fair enough.
Why would he keep lying about the same thing just to keep getting more like trouble on him?
Yeah, fair enough. Well, we are like right at 2 hours on the dot, so I think that's a sign from the universe.
That's enough for the good people of this world. They've gotten enough.
Yeah.
They got everything they needed.
I've had a lot of fun tonight doing this. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me, and hopefully we can do this again soon.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Literally anytime.
Cool, man.
Cool.
Well, I will be back here. Next week's episode will be probably Tuesday night. Either Tuesday or Thursday, I'll be back live. And that'll be fun. So, yeah.
See you next time.